There's a war brewing in this territory. Brigham Young trying to make his kingdom. You got the Wasatch Mountain Range. Grizzlies, wolves, riled up Mormons.
Someday,
this entire American continent will be ours.
I have faith that the Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
Dad, where's the party?
Oh, well, I'm in a little trouble.
Is she pregnant?
Well, if she is, are you gonna leave the woman carrying your grandchild standing out in the cold?
I look pregnant?
Among the most common sexual sins, pregnancy, all ugly sins, but in and of themselves, they're pernicious evils.
And young women, please understand that if you dress immodestly, you are magnifying this problem by becoming pornography.
We believe that we are gods in embryo. We teach that. We believe that because it's in the scriptures.
It was during my young adult years that I began to gain a deep testimony of God the Father and His beloved Son, Jesus Christ. I came to know for myself that Jesus Christ was born of the Virgin Mary, who was a precious and chosen vessel.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. Mormons, Mormons, Mormons. You're supposed to be Jewish. Why do you believe false prophets? Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith clearly tell us we're pre-Babylonian captivity Jewish Egyptians, and thus not Christian. But even if you were to take the Book of Mormon literally, as Christians do for the Bible, they too got it wrong. 1 Nephi chapter 10, verse 4. Yea, even 600 years from the time that my father left Jerusalem, would, or a prophet, would the Lord God raise up among the Jews, even a Messiah, or in other words, a Savior of the world. Then you would have to acknowledge that the date for the coming of Jesus, when it clearly says Jewish Messiah, would be 4 CE, not 1. Oh no, what do you do? Curl up in a ball and keep repeating the church is true, the church is true, the church is true, until you get the right feeling again? Do you ignore this? Which is it, Mormons? Jewish or literal history? And if it's literal history, it's 4 CE, which means the prophets of the living Jesus are false prophets still. There is no scenario in which the prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are true. They lie. Everything they say is a lie, because they can't get it right. You believe they talked to Jesus to hurt you. Jesus tells me to hurt you, steal your money, rape you. And then you say they're true and you give them of your substance. That's messed up, Mormons. That's a level of illiteracy called indoctrination. That is set for cult groups who murder their flock. Wow, what do you know? That's exactly what you guys are. And so you will not listen to the warning voice, because you have been indoctrinated to become the enemy. And that's why you hate me. So, you have no idea that the Bible was written by Freemasons. 1611 King James Version, Freemasons. It's for Anglicanism, not Mormonism. But because it was written by Freemasons, there's codes within, because they knew science. And so you don't get that a Freemason wrote the Book of Mormon, at least 116 pages, and oversaw the rest of it. There are codes in the Book of Mormon, and I just gave you one. He was a master mason who rewrote the 116 pages. And nope, not Joseph Jr. He was not a master mason until 1842, and we're coming up on that anniversary. The 15th, he became a master mason. And then on the 17th, he gave women the priesthood and priesthood office. Yep, The living prophets of Jesus lied to you again. What a shock. And so Joseph Jr. in 1844 told us that the more accurately correct, according to our doctrine, is the Lutheran Bible. Yep. From the German. So not the King James Version. And so thus why Joseph Smith also told us that not only is the King James Version translated incorrectly, as the Book of Mormon tries to correct some of the key features in it, because again, remember, it's Jewish. Master Masons wrote it. It's specifically written to educate on how to correctly translate the Bible. But you miss it, don't you? Because you think it's literal history. And you should have caught on when there's exact plagiarism, errors and all in the Book of Mormon. Was it the 1769 edition? So nonetheless, I am very curious. I mean, I did fulfill it technically yesterday. Exodus 3:14 Mormons. Exodus 3:14. But nonetheless, notwithstanding, there's the curse of Joseph Smith that we're on a high alert for, right? What's the curse of Joseph Smith? Well, you see, he was assassinated, and thus the curse on those who assassinated him, and thus you may know who they are by who is dying under the curse of Joseph Smith. Duh. And it comes from the Bible, from the law, in regards to Deuteronomy 19, verse 19, that those who make a false accusation and carry out the punishment for that false accusation are to receive that punishment themselves, the curse of Joseph Smith Jr. It's also referred to as the law of Purim for the Jews. So the book of Esther talks about a Purim event that did not happen, but the Jews did go free under the Persian rule. Nevertheless, the Purim Jewish author of Esther was writing in the learning of the Jews to educate. And so, to know the great and abominable church, all you have to do is look to see who's dying under the curse of Joseph Smith. And it has to do with the sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven. There will be patterns. So Joseph Smith died 27th of June, 1844, being assassinated by terrorists who wanted to overthrow the government. And were plotting to do so using the Bible code to coordinate their attack in the latter days. To get everybody in position and then carry it out. A coup of America to return it, to make America Great Britain again. And so there was a solar eclipse that occurred for his death, 16th of June, 1844, which is 11 days away from his actual assassination date. And on the 31st of May, 1844, there was a lunar eclipse 27 days away. So there's your pattern for the curse of Joseph Smith. And so going over, the one who ordered and paid for his assassination and those who succeeded him, we have a pattern match for every single one. Nobody else. Not the Catholic Church, not the Anglican Church, not the Methodists, Baptists, Presbyterians, Lutherans. Nope. Only this great and abominable church that falsely accused Joseph and had him murdered. Thomas S. Monson is the exception, because not only did he fit the pattern, he also fulfilled scriptural prophecy, because he's the enemy too. For Purim, the curse of Joseph Smith. Because by removing Thomas S. Monson, when he was removed in accordance with scriptural prophecy and time and day and hour, thus began the latter days, with the false prophet of prophecy and time and day and hour, called Revelation, not inspiration. The Freemasons knew this and accurately encoded it. The Master Mason, who had to rewrite the 116 pages, Junior, knew this and encoded it. Because I've already done the video about 9/11/1826 and the coming forth of the Book of Mormon. Need to pay attention. You can't just dismiss because you think you know better. And yet, Mormons, who readily acknowledge they don't know everything, assume hastily that I am wrong. They do not understand that I am the Jedi Master. I am Luke Skywalker, the fulfillment of Jedi prophecy. No, it can't be. It's not true. No. Oh my God, she was my sister, and I kissed her. Oh my God, can't we delete it from that movie? Hilarious. The force was not strong in either of those two. And comedy ensues. Okay. So, Jump Ice 2025, guys. 2025. And so, yeah, in case you're gonna think you're gonna own me if nothing happens on Thursday into Friday with the lunar eclipse, you also need to remember that neither Hales nor Ballard died during those times either. See if they're in the same file here. Imperial March with the bells. Could that be our theme song? March. The bells. Great mix. Let's see. Yeah, I have that he was part of the solar eclipse for the 21st of August 2017 as an exception to the rule, which means there would have been no other solar eclipse closer to October, but it was October 1st, and so there's leeway for that because that's the starting solar eclipse for the latter days. And plus it was the date of Samson's wedding anniversary at the Lion House next to the Beehive House for his wedding feast. Done the videos. Don't think that you're the master when you readily acknowledge you're just the apprentice. I mean, seriously, if you were in a specific field, which you are, right? And you were in school as a student, not the teacher, and the teacher decides to bring in an expert in that field to lecture for that one day. Do you, as a student who's chosen to be in that field because you want to be the master in that field, and you're getting an opportunity to learn from a master in that field, and you're just going to say, nope, I know better than him, I'm going to skip? Seriously? You do not understand what you are doing by thinking the church has to be true as Christian. And so it is in conjunction with the scriptural prophecies, but I am not finding when that lunar eclipse was for that year. For Hales. Does this one have it? No, that's the 3, because that's what I used to think was the 3 days of darkness. The one on the 21st of June, 2020. No. There was another one that was over Utah, Travis. Shame on you. So, we're going to have to do a search on the internet. Because if I were to pull up my Urim and Thummim, it would delete the camera. Shut it off. Lunar eclipse 2017. February and August. Penumbral lunar eclipse. No. August 2017 lunar eclipse. August 7th. There we go. There we go. And so, time and date should also give it to us. Yeah, down at the tips of South America to South Africa. Oh, those are the solar. Total eclipse of the heart. That was for the February one. There we go. Ooh. Oh, interesting. So you can see, even though there's couple months distance because it gets an exception by scripture prophecies with the curse of Joseph Smith added on top of it for Hales. But he's not the president of the church. That's also another thing that needs to be factored in. So he gets a little more leeway that way. And then, where are you, Ballard? Where are you? Where are you? Ballard, I know you're out there somewhere. Somewhere. See, there's the one that I did, and then there's the other one that I did. One with the solar, the other with the lunar. So, the solar obviously was the 14th of October, 2023. Passed right over Utah in the constellation of the church constellation of Virgo. Mormons, are you listening? It was blatantly obvious. I did the videos. I made the pretty picture. And so his death was on the 12th of November. So, a month. He fits. He's the president acting of the 12th. And he also had controversy and scandal with Tim Ballard. Are you sure you weren't assassinated like Joseph? To cover up sin and crime as the blood oath atonement. If that were the case, all 15 would have to do that. Fall on your sword. You have been dishonored. Right, Cook? Oh my God. Never leave a money trail. Never. Rule number 1 in criminal operations. Never have a money trail. Musk knows that. He's deleting the receipts. Oh my God. 10th. So October 28th was the lunar eclipse. Even closer into the month period time frame, plus or minus. And so sure enough, it's also in the Ram constellation of sacrifice with the two falling stars. 3 if you count Andromeda's. See, when you understand the truth, Mormons, then you can laugh at this church. They're all laughing at you. And then you'll begin to understand Isaiah about Lucifer. Wait a minute. Lucifer is not in the biblical text, or the Hebrew text. Who put it in the Book of Mormon version? Master Mason? Another code. Another clue. Come on, Mormons, wake up. There's lots to learn and you're way behind. Because Oaks got leaked. See, with my 8.5K plus videos now, I've already covered all these subjects. I've already been giving you the warning voice. And for you to finally find me after all these years, you can blame YouTube, the Mormon employee who attends your church, who's trying to murder you by denying you access to my video content. So unless for some reason you chose to only come to one video finally, knowing full well that I've been around all these years, that it's your choice to disregard the truth, to remain in ignorance, and full of hate, because your beliefs lead to your actions, and your actions lead to consequences. That's why the scriptures, even that Bible translated by Freemasons, still correctly teaches you about the consequences of your actions, and that you need to do good, not evil. When you have a false belief, you become evil. Real simple stuff. So, day 2, which I did a short little clip on, was the fall of the airline stocks in America. After America's day 1 fall of the stock market, which was for Elon Musk's Tesla, which still continued yesterday as well, the church is selling their stocks. The church is the major stockholder in the stock market, not just in America, but worldwide. Worldwide, specifically in Asia, there was a stock market crash of $4 trillion equivalents. This was a major crash that Trump is causing. He is using this as a weapon. Tariffs. It's not a negotiating tactic. It's an extortion threat. He is destroying the world economies unless they bow the knee and tongue confess that he's the Christ. This is real simple Dictator 101 stuff. And the deep state Dems, they think they know, and they don't. He is not the head guy. Trump is a puppet put in by the head guy, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because by having him in, it's insider trading for the stock market, and thus the church is pulling their stock. They're profiting off of Trump destroying the world. Remember that enemy that wants to overthrow the government in the latter days, using the Bible prophecies as their plot to coordinate their attack with days and hours? And yet they still put in, no man knows the day or the hour. They did. And then the enemy knew them as well and used it. So that's why you have the two different Scottish rites and York rites, and there's others, but those were the two main ones in America in the early 1800s. And so if you learn, you understand that they're here in America believing that the future Christ is coming to America. And that's why on the 21st of August 2017, you've got all these Salems that fall in line, because Freemasons knew. They were telling their brethren where X would mark the spot for New Jerusalem, Salem. So there's a reason why Joseph Smith said, hey, gold plates buried in the ground. Freemasonry, guys. Daddy taught them. They were York rites, by the way. Knights Templar. So then you gotta know Knights Templar. You know, Friday the 13th, which was Thursday the 13th in the Julian calendar. But still, nonetheless, they had gold plates from Egyptian that the Pope accused them of worshiping false idol god pagans. And so Friday the 13th massacre, which burned the leader like a Benedict. And then there were those who escaped to the islands off of Sweden, the area up there. And then the Vikings took them to America, and they came to the Mandan tribe, and they're paid for the eastern half of the United States of America because they knew where X marks the spot. So did the Native American Indians who lived at X marks the spot. The sun god people of the Sun City, with the sun god chief making human sacrifices to the sun god. How did they know? Right there at X marks the spot. The symbol of the sun god being sacrificed in the latter days as the sign in the heavens. Everybody knows, Mormons, except for you. And you have the Book of Mormon. And you still think it's literal history with Jesus. Boy, what a joke they've played on you. So, you don't even know that you're supposed to be Anglican. Even though they're trying to be both Islamic and evangelical. They want Jesus as the Christ, but they want those 72 child bride virgins, not just 10. Brigham Young was thinking too small. And so, yes, this is what he's doing. He's purposely tanking the economy. You tank the economy, you destroy the federal government. And so, yes, I find it amusing that the House is presenting a bill before the Senate now, having voted to approve it yesterday, which is going to include some things that are going to cause harm to American citizens. But that's part of the extortion racket of the House, of MAGA. And Democrats in the House have no power to keep it from getting approved. And so now it goes off to the Senate, and the Senate has always caved to MAGA to keep the government going rather than to shut it down. But now Biden is not president. Trump is. So is the Senate, Democrats, going to put a stop to Trump to save American lives by firing American employees of the federal government, which is exactly what Trump is doing, having Musk purge the agencies? Or are they going to let Trump purge the agencies and keep the federal government running until there are no employees left, but then have those little things in the law that will hurt American citizens? $13 billion going to be cut for Americans. This will cause harm either way. That's the extortion of MAGA. And so, yeah, we're waiting for that trigger. I saw Gladiator 2 the other day. Oh my God, it was awesome. The perfect sequel. Oh my God. Because I hadn't seen Gladiator in a while, but I knew all about it. I cried. That could be the theme song in the description below. And that was brilliant of them to reference that at the ending of the movie before they did their own new version for Gladiator 2, which I'm not too happy with. But nonetheless. Okay, the movie's done. Shut it off. It's not a Marvel movie, so I don't have to watch through the entire credits to see the little tiny clip at the end. I didn't know about that at first. I'm watching all these Marvel movies, and then finally somebody else said that there was some stuff at the end, and at the end, what? So then I had to go back and rewatch all the other Marvel movies that I'd seen. Go, oh my God, those bastards. So yes, in the coming day, the Senate will vote. So pay attention. It will cause harm either way. American lives will suffer. And so it was an interesting thing that Trump, knowing that he's having fun with the stock market worldwide, threatens worse stuff, causes a sell-off on the stock market, and then backs off. And then does it again, and then backs off, and does it again, and backs off. Yeah, he's purposely playing games, as the church is selling everything off. And so nobody is confident yet into what post-tariff stocks are going to be worth investing in. That's where the problem lies. Because in 2020, yeah, there was a huge massive sell-off, and then they started purchasing the post-COVID stocks that would profit because of the virus spreading across America and the world. And so yes, the church then reinvested their pre-COVID stocks into vaccine companies, pharmaceutical companies, as a result. That's how they were able to make all their money that they did, where everybody else suffered and died, because the church had insider information. Right, Nelson? Shanghai! Yep. They are the cause of everything, Mormons, when you begin to realize they are the great and abominable church. And so, as I've gone over with you, Trump, in case you don't know, has cut off funding to all those he's deemed as illegal, undocumented, and terrorist. And so, in Utah, all the funding for Islamic terrorists have been cut. They don't get them anymore. The federal government will no longer fund terrorism of sleeper cells in America. And so, in the state of Utah, these programs for Islamic terrorists in Utah are now crying that they don't have any money. And they want you to give your money, which is disappearing fast now too, not just because of the price of eggs, to them. They want you now to fund them, because the federal government won't. And this is what I've always warned you about during Christmas time, especially, when you get all these people saying, give to charity, give to us. You need to understand that charities are a business in and of themselves. That the people who run them, that's their job. They get paid. And so obviously they want lots and lots of donations, because according to the laws of the IRS, they can hoard a great much of it for themselves and make a huge profit off of it. And all they have to do is demonstrate a minimal amount of charity to the charity that they claim to be a charity for the tax-exempt status of 501c3. Right? Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And so, yeah, you get a lot of people coming out and saying, oh, yeah, oh, hurricane relief. Oh, look at these poor children in some country that you don't know. And so starving. Look at these dogs. Oh my God, help the poor puppies. And yeah, pull your heartstrings as they show abusive graphic content for their commercials. But they're, for the most part, a scam operation. It's their business to get your money from you. But our federal government was designed for the sole purpose of using our taxpayer money to fund those in need. And so what Trump is doing is cutting off funding to the U.S. aid and to others that are for undocumented, illegal, and terrorist. And so now they're crying, give us money. Because the federal government shut us off. It's because you're illegal, terrorist, undocumented. And so what they're asking you to do as terrorists is to fund terrorism. But the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints already funds terrorism worldwide, not just Islamists, but also the Philippines. Right, Cook? They even took the photograph of passing the terrorist money to a government official. Talk about criminal activities that you don't do 101. Oh my God. And he's in the top 6, isn't he? Cook, he's in the top 6. He should know better. Oh, no. Age and rank. Pissed off with Microsoft. They keep trashing my system. It's becoming unworkable. You know, the other computers that are not being used before the latest upgrade of Microsoft are still functioning properly. So as long as I can keep them off the internet to force an upgrade. Yeah, he's in the top 6. He knows better. He knows better. What the hell? And he even in the video gives his extortion reasons for paying them the money. Oh my God, it's like they think I'm gonna forget. They're testing me. Oh, you claim to have memory recall, huh? And this prophetic associative memory. And that you've got all of the documents, all of the recordings, all of the leaked information, knowing all the church history, all of the world history, all of everything, and the receipts. You've got it all. Oh yeah, well, we'll test you. And time again. Yeah, he does. Oh crap. And they keep testing me. What the hell? It's like they think, oh, well, we'll try to see if we can get something by him that he misses. No, I don't miss anything. I'm well aware of Bednar talking to Rick's college with his wife about relationships. He's partly right, so I didn't bother with it yesterday. I was more focused on Cook. What was that other one that I also covered? Oh my God. So no, it wasn't Red Alert. Oh yeah, the airline stock, of course. Stranding missionaries worldwide. See, this is also a bizarre thing, because Heber C. Kimball is the enemy of the same organization, criminal organization, that Nelson is a part of. And in 2020, sure enough, missionaries were stranded. And he had to call them back during the time of stranding all over the world. And he didn't like it that missionaries had to be called home. He didn't like it that conference was almost canceled, that nobody was in attendance. But we are doing it again. The same patterns in 2020 are happening now. And for a reason, because the church orchestrated it to be such. Oaks got leaked by little sister Jessica. Not getting it. It's not me. The church. I've exposed the church. They are the enemy. When is this going to click for anybody? Everything they do, everything they say is not just a lie, but part of the coup. And so he confesses. 2020 is the test run for 2024. And here we go. And so now you can understand the code in the Book of Mormon. 3rd Nephi chapter 7. They're trying to murder Trump. It's not hang Mike Pence. They're trying to murder. They're trying to murder Trump. Pence was supposed to be Jacob. And so now J.D. Vance is going to be Jacob once they can succeed and murder Trump. They set him up. They put him in and set him up. Nelson went to Russia on the 15th of June, 2013. I did this yesterday. And 3 days later, Trump gets a call. Hey, you can come to Russia for Miss Universe in November. Not a coincidence. When you understand they're the enemy, then you understand the bigger picture. Everything they do is for this end, this final solution. To get their kingdom back. They are the enemy. So, Trump also apparently has issued a travel ban to the United States. There's higher requirements required now, which also makes it tougher for missionaries to come home as well. And so it's very weird. Heber C. Kimball had his prophecy that things would get so bad that the missionaries would be called home to the valley here in Salt Lake. And so, yeah, 2020, I did the videos. Prophecy fulfilled, church is true. And Nelson didn't like it. And so, yes, again, here we are, faced with missionaries that are now even younger than Heber C. Kimball's generation. Teenagers stranded around the world. This is the great and abominable church. They send out teenagers to recruit to give money to the church. Teenagers are being sacrificed by this church to make the church money. The world is too dangerous now under Trump. This is not a time to be fooling around with people's lives. If you were legitimate, The missionaries must come home. The missionary work must stop. It is too dangerous, especially since all of Netflix, Hulu, and others who are doing videos about how evil and murderous the church are. The whole world hates this church because of how popular it's getting exposed. It's not by me. The YouTube Mormon employee has silenced my voice. He fell for the diversion. He fell for the law of Purim. Again, wrong beliefs lead to wrong actions. Wrong actions have consequences. The law of Purim. I'm just the warning voice. You chose not to listen. Okay? Missionaries must be brought home immediately, and they won't do it. The Strengthening Church Members Committee are specifically targeting me to pay attention to everything I say because of my lawsuits in fulfillment of prophecy in 2020. The church wants to be notified of everything I say, everything I do. Because they have consequences. And so, yes, they report to the corporate board. And I should be doing it daily, because I do videos daily. But nonetheless, are they? The prophets are now wanting to pretend like I don't exist. And they know that just ain't so. And so the local news seems to be the responder to me instead. Right, former Chief Brown? Yeah, I see they took care of the teenager from yesterday. They still didn't turn back on the lights. But that's the way evil is. When they get caught in a big thing, they take care of that one thing, but they leave all these other things behind. Right, YouTube Mormon employee? I know what you're doing. He purposely wants me triggered to file complaint after complaint after complaint that nothing is getting done on YouTube, so that he can then justify punishing me for complaining about him being the causation. I know what you're up to. It's your pattern of practice, you dumbass hater. And Mormons, he's in your ward. He hates you. He wants you dead. That's why he doesn't want you to find my videos. He wants you murdered. He's your enemy. And so, yeah, that's it. We got everything covered. Cool. And only in less than an hour. Right on target. Right on target.